All right, everybody. We've got about 2 hours until PPI is released here on Thursday, March 14th, 2024. This is for the February Producer Price Index news release. So what we're going to do, I was going to share this with just the members in the Owings Trading Elite trading community, but I wanted to bring it to you guys' attention out there on YouTube too. I've gotten a lot of support, a lot of great people out there. So I wanted to make this available to you guys as well. This is how I prepare for these news announcements. And I'm debating on what I will trade going into PPI, whether it's going to be a challenge account or an actual TopStep Express funded account. Of course, I can't trade any of my Uprofit funded accounts because they don't allow news trading, but TopStep I can. And I've got a ton of those passed now. So I've got plenty of risk there that I can take. So I'm debating if I'm going to go big on one of these TopStep Express funded accounts. The one that I've already got $3,000 in profit in, I could take, really big risk on that and try to hit a home run. So we'll see. Maybe I'll do that. I want to see what the research looks like first. So you can see here, we're going to go back and look at past events to see how they affected NQ. You can see this was the release in September. That was for the August PPI. Remember, we're always a month ahead. So let's look. This was released Thursday, September 14th, 2023. Go back and check that. All right, I had to pause and load the data. So here you can see we're on the 14th. You can see the date down in here. And I've got my pointer tracker on TradeStation here that'll track the bars. So I don't have my typical drawing tools, but we'll get the general idea here of how this PPI. So this came out, see if we can get the actual, well, we'll go back and look at the actual. It doesn't really matter what the numbers were, to be honest, because people are going to have access to that, in split seconds, right when it comes out. So we got to use the technicals. So I'm just concerned with how the market reacts, if we can see any patterns here. So here we can see it's a mess, right? So this was, the release came out right there at 8:30. You can see, you get an initial move down, not a bad move, maybe 60 points or so, about 60 points or so. And then after that first 15-minute, it punches back up. That was kind of, no follow through there, pretty choppy. Let's look at the next one. Now we're going to look at the September release, which was on Wednesday, October 11th. Let's find that. All right, we're now on October 11th. You can see the date down here. So everything forward is October 11th. So here you go. Here's PPI for October 11th. And again, you can see there's the 8:30. This is the 15-minute chart, by the way. This is the hourly chart. This is the daily chart. So you can see here on the 15-minute bar chart, again, just a move down, recovered, back up. So far on those two, we're seeing a move down again by about 60 points in both instances, and then a recovery back up. Okay, interesting. Let's look at the next release. All right, this will be for the October number, which was released on Wednesday, November 15th, which we've got right here. You can see November 15th. And let's see, this was a little bit more of a wild one. You can see here, big wild move there. Interesting. Okay, let's go to the next one. All right, this is for the November number, PPI, which was released on December 13th, which was also a Wednesday. You can see down here, 12:13. So let's go to 8:30 a.m. Eastern, which was right here. So this particular one, we just ended up, pretty good move to the upside there. Interesting. Now we're getting closer to current time. We're going to look at the December number, which came out January 12th. So we'll go ahead and jump on over to January 12th, which will be right here at 8:30, right there. So that also went up. So now we can see the most recent ones, December, just pushed higher very cleanly. The January release, and remember, the month we're talking about is always a month prior. I'm just going to talk about the release dates. So the December release was just a move up. The January release, we can see here, a move up. Let's go now and look at the February release and then see what we expect for the March coming up today. All right, the February number was released on February 16th, which we'll find right here. So Okay. So here's the February number, just smoked the market big time to the downside. That is interesting. And that one, yeah, so that was interesting. So that must have been a hot print and just tanked the market there. Okay, and now basically what do we expect for today? I mean, overall, it looks like when the number comes out, except for in the last 6 months, you know, what patterns are we seeing? That 1 month is when you had that really wacky, choppy move, but the rest of the months at least gave you a clean, if you were in right at the release and you set like a, you know, 50 point or 60 point target, the rest of the months, if you pick the direction right, you know, if you're wrong, obviously you're you're screwed. But if you guess and you got a 50-50 chance and you hit the direction right, you know, you got a clean move going your direction without, you know, going against you. And that's the key, because that allows you to use more contracts, right? If you're going to be super aggressive. So let's go ahead and look at what we've got for today with OMA. So with OMA, give you guys a little bit of a sneak peek here into how we do this. I'll bring up my drawing tools for you guys now that we don't need the pointer tracker anymore. All right, let's quickly get into what Yahoo is saying about the PPI. We will go ahead and find this here in a moment. Just get a little idea of what Yahoo is expecting. Well, this is a video, which we don't want. I want an article. All right, we got retail sales as well. Forgot to mention that, so it'll be a 1-2 punch. But let's look at the charts, because that's really what's most important here. I've got some ideas about sort of the narrative in place. I think this market is continuing to push higher because it's sort of climbing the wall of worry. So I don't think the bullish picture is over here. This doesn't look to me like it wants to roll over yet. And I think we're going to go higher from here. The weekly chart here is trending up nicely. We pulled back to some support for this week. We're coming out of this support. I'm expecting the week to close up in here. You can already see on the E-mini S&P 500 ES, we're already up near the highs here. So, you know, unless ES is going to catch down to Nasdaq, then I think the Nasdaq should probably catch up to the ES. And right now I'm betting on Nasdaq catching up. So when we come into this report, we want to use Owings Market Analysis. And, you know, this is what I share with the members every day across all the major futures markets. But for this PPI preview, we'll just look at the Nasdaq because that's the one I'm going to trade. And you can see we've got a lot of weekly support. The monthly is still well supported here. And the daily is now pulled back into some support as well. So what we know about PPI, it doesn't, from what we can see in our research, right? This is what's important, because I'm coming into the announcement with a bullish bias based on my weekly, monthly, and daily charts, right? So I'm coming in, I probably want to go long. That's just based on OMA. I have no idea what the announcement's going to come out as. It's you know, impossible to know ahead of time. So let's look here at the intraday charts. We know PPI just tends to go in the direction, at least, you know, most of the time, if you pick the direction right, you can either catch a runner or, you know, get something for 50, 60 points, which is not too bad. So here on the Nasdaq, you know, I'll have a lot more information as we get closer to the release in terms of what the 15-minute is telling me and the hourly is telling me. But for now, see the hourly's trending up. Okay, we're rolling over a little now, but, you know, we'd have to see where the hourly is. What type of hourly pattern do I have at 8 a.m. Eastern, which is the hourly pattern that's most relevant for the 8:30 news release? What is my 15-minute chart telling me? So I'm going to be looking at these things, but heading into the news announcement, I'm definitely going to, you know, be looking to play along, just because the weekly and the daily are still very, very bullish. And I'll have to decide. I'll kind of, you know, this is when I listen to my gut last minute. If I feel on a day when I'm super clear, I'll just go ahead and trade the funded account. But right now, you know, I'm clear. I think I have a pretty good idea that, you know, prices will be well supported. But do I want to take the opportunity and maybe pass another challenge or two, or do I want to actually risk some XFA, TopStep Express Funded Account money? I'll make that a game time decision. I'll let you guys know what I did after and how that worked out. But I'm probably going to be, looking to the long side here. I mean, definitely, I'm going to be looking to the long side. And then my exact entry, whether I just go in at market just before the news gets released, or set an order somewhere, I'll have to determine what the hourly and the 15-minute chart are doing prior to the announcement, just heading right into it. But looking at the past PPIs, it looks like you got to kind of pick a direction, get in, and just, the good news is you can use a tight stop, it looks like. Now, again, these spreads have been super wide lately on these news announcements. You're talking several points on the Nasdaq. So keep that in mind if you're using a stop. Make sure to account for the spread widening before the news, because that can be pretty dangerous. So you got to be careful on these, especially if you're using a stop. That's what's good about the XFA accounts. If I want to risk $3,000, which is the max daily loss, then I can use a lot of contracts. I don't want to have it use too many contracts that don't give it a little bit of wiggle room. But let's say I was to go, I don't know, let's say maybe, maybe 10 contracts on the Nasdaq, right? So 10 contracts would be $200 a point, right? So that's only on $3,000. That doesn't give you much room. That only gives you 15 points, right? But if you're right on that trade on 10 contracts, you get your 60 points, you make a quick 4-to-1. That's not too bad. You get 12 grand in profit for 3,000 of your risk. So my question is, do I want to go long, risk, 3 grand on 10 contracts, which is 15 points, and then just, set my profit target 60 points up above, and just see, if I get lucky, and basically, well, get lucky, but we're doing a little bit of research here, and just accept the fact that, hey, there's a pretty high chance that something will happen and I'll lose 3 grand because I'm not giving it a very wide stop. But, in the event that it works, I make 12 grand. Do I want to accept those odds? Because that's really what trading's not really about, being right or wrong. It's about, accepting the odds and, putting together a game plan for each situation. So that's kind of what I'm debating here for one of my XFAs here. And I will have a little bit of breakfast and think about it, and leave you guys with that. So I wish you all the best of luck as well. And let's see what happens. Pray for surf. All right. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.